Morning, good afternoon. Actually, it is good evening. Literally, good evening. Good evening, and welcome to the. I'm sorry, Nathan is just literally putting me up because it's the first time I've seen him in 3 weeks, and I've missed him so much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ethel, and this is Grandma Gamer Presents. Final Cut presents the Director's Cut Podcast Gaming Special. I am here with a special boy known as Michael Fraser.
Welcome back. We've all missed you.
Oh, I've missed you too. And the one who and can't stand anything fun and good, Mr. Dean Connolly.
You wouldn't know what good was if it was a fucking mafia bullet and ended up straight in your face.
Well, today I thought we would talk about our favorite memories playing those fancy games. I like euchre. I don't know about you two, but it is one of the best games I could ever imagine playing. I remember once it was Thanksgiving and I had the left, right, ace, king, and 10 of diamonds. And then when it came around to me and I made it diamonds.
I'm sorry, we're not in the mood for what happened in the 1960s when gaming was not an essentiality.
And then I remember getting 4 points.
No one cares. Everybody wants to talk about gaming. So let's talk about gaming, everyone. So there is a topic, and it's actually a bit of a sad topic, but I must do this, unfortunately. By the way, Mr. Tasker, is the old crone here by any chance, or is she finally gone?
Oh, hello, Dean.
Goodbye. Right, so news starts with there's actually a bit. I didn't actually know this until I actually found this on Instagram, but apparently Karen Fukuhara, who plays Kamiko on The Boys, also plays a key role in the Callisto Protocol, which I actually do like. Karen Fukuhara, by the way, if anybody comic book wise doesn't know who that is, she played Phaser. Remind me who she played in Suicide Squad.
I don't know actor names, you know that. I know them as their character.
She's the one with the katana where her fiance is trapped in the sword.
Yeah, Katana.
Like, what was that actual name?
Yes, her actual hero name is Katana, and she has the katana.
Ah, fair enough then. Yeah, the only difference is between The Boys and Suicide Squad is in The Boys she actually had some proper character development. So I must admit, by the look of things, she actually looks a bit more emotional than she does play in Kamiko. So that'll be interesting to say the least.
I remember with The Boys playing.
Don't care. Right, here's a laugh, gentlemen. A professional soccer player injures himself playing Xbox. Exactly. British footballer Courtney Baker-Richardson has injured his leg while playing the console. The BBC had called the injury a tweak in the player's leg. I was about to say, I don't think it was playing the game. I'm tempting to think it was something else.
I want to know what game he was playing where he'd injure his leg.
How can you injure your leg playing a game?
Look, I'll put it to you like this. I'm going to go back to my college days here for this, but I can tell you that Rock Band, especially Rock Band 2, could get pretty competitive, okay? And if he's a retro gamer, let me tell you, the Xbox Series X can play just about anything. So if it's that, I mean, if you're going with Rock Band and playing the drums, I could see it.
You know, I was going to suggest Nintendo Switch. Well, he says Xbox, but how do we know he's not a Nintendo Switch player?
Well, I mean, you know, if you think about that, like stuff like Ring Fit Adventure and ARMS and, you know, trying to get yourself healthy. And you want to know what? Actually, when the PlayStation Move and the Kinect sensor came out, there was a big craze for movement games. Who hasn't heard of stuff like Wii Fit or UFC Trainer?
Yeah.
That have actual workouts which actually hurt you, and as a couch potato, don't play these games.
I never do.
But you know what? The more I think about it, I can see it. Depending on the kind of game.
Yeah, but I bet it was FIFA. What he actually did was he threw his controller at the TV in disgust, but instead of throwing it at the TV, he held onto it and banged his knee. It would happen. Excuse me. CD Projekt's Adam, I think it's Adam Kaczynski, I think that's how he pronounced his name, said during investors call that the next mainline Witcher game, codenamed Polaris, is at least 3 years away and will kick off a new trilogy that's intended to be released over a 6-year period. So we'll say 2026 because I'm literally the end of the year is nice. So we go by 3-4 years, it's 2026. And then there's one going to be released in 2029 and another one released, 2026, 2028 and 2030. So that'd be handy. I'm going to be honest now, I've never played a Witcher game. Never.
You should.
I should. I know it is basically in the vein of Batman Arkham Asylum, which I absolutely love. And I should, but I've just never been able to get my hands on it. But I will at some point. Here's something interesting. Games Radar reported that Dark Viper AU began a pacifist run in May of 2019, playing through all of GTA 5 story with the only casualties being the ones absolutely necessary for progress in the game. The project can be spread over 27 videos.
Okay, and? It doesn't surprise me if you look at like LPs and a bunch of other things like that for something to be 27 videos. So,
Fraser?
What was the thing?
A GTA 5 player took 3 years to complete a pacifist run. Basically, the only people who died were the ones absolutely necessary for progress in the game. And the guy and the YouTuber, Twitcher, spread the project over 27 videos.
That's not exactly a pacifist run if you still gotta like cap somebody. So
yeah, but the only people that he could cap were the people absolutely required to finish the game.
So if you have to kill somebody to get the next chapter, then you would actually kill that someone. It's not as if you were going from point A to point B and mowing down every prostitute you saw.
Yeah, I've seen pacifist runs of stuff like even Mario or Sonic the Hedgehog, where Bowser or Eggman are exempt because you literally need to kill them or break their machines in order to get to the next section of the game.
It's like every progression.
Are you all right there, Dean? Would you like me to take over?
No, I would not.
You know what that means? Nathan's got to do a pacifist run in Kingdom Hearts now.
Oh, that's impossible. That is impossible.
But just remember, you have the extra added advantage of having to kill only who you need to kill.
But, well, I do like not killing things. I'll consider it.
This will make you laugh. Popular Twitch streamer and adult performer Adriana Chelik, I think that's how you pronounce it, leapt into a foam pit after winning a foam sword duel at TwitchCon, landed on a tailbone, and broke her back in 2 places. She said she'll need surgery to put a meter rod in for support. Can you imagine? How did you break your leg, darling? Right, I leapt into a foam pit at TwitchCon. That's really going to be like, yeah, that's why you don't do stuff like that at TwitchCon. I will say one thing. This news was actually a couple of weeks ago, and I've been saving it up. So I hope she's made a speedy recovery since then. And by the way, Adriana, if you do need a date for, say, the prom or a date at TwitchCon, maybe, I unfortunately am taken, as is Mr. Fraser, but Mr. Tasker's always available.
This is true.
And I swear to God, mate. Being with her would literally give your what's the word I'm looking for? Would make your reputation go up to the point where your ex-classmates would beg you for a date, if you even want to do that. This, this is actually something quite shocking, and I was actually quite shocked by this. Halloween director and Halloween Ends executive producer / composer John Carpenter has revealed some of his favorite video games. To be honest with you, it will actually shock you what he actually likes. He has noted that he got into the medium in the 90s with Sonic the Hedgehog, which is a good start. He's really big into Fallout 76. Although he does say he doesn't like to interact with other players because he doesn't want to be shamed by younger, better players. He's also expressed love for Borderlands and for Horizon Forbidden West, the latter of which he dubbed as mind-blowing. He also spoke about his love for larger open-world games. Oh, by the way, Nathan, you're going to love him for what I'm going to tell you next. He says, but I have time for Crash Bandicoot and Ratchet and Clank and stuff like that too.
He's an eclectic. I like it.
However, he's not huge on every open world game. Ironically enough, he couldn't get into the Red Dead Redemptions due to struggling with controls. Given Rockstar Games is a leading developer for open world games, this is a bit of a surprise, but clearly he's getting a kick out of games that have been inspired by Rockstar's formula.
Here's the thing. Red Dead Redemption, for as much as great as it is, and it is slow to get into, and if you're having trouble with the controls combined with the slow opening, you're not going to get very far.
Yeah. I do have another bit of John Carpenter news here. When asked if he'd ever thought about adapting a video game horror legend avid gamer, John Carpenter replied, Dead Space, that would make a great movie. I could do that. We did discuss this last week, but since you weren't here, I thought I would get your opinion on it.
On the new Dead Space movie, or
he would actually be up for adapting Dead Space into a movie.
See, here's the thing.
But doesn't necessarily mean he'd direct it.
No, but I'm taking a look at it just in my head right now. Dead Space is atmospheric in a way that I'm not sure would work for a movie. A lot of people consider games interactive movies nowadays, and to some extent you can see the point, but Dead Space, everything about it is designed to build in a certain way. Low, slow, atmosphere that just builds upon builds. Upon builds. And I'm going to be honest with you. I am not sure you could take that and condense it into a 2-hour movie without making some serious cuts or some changes to the formula. Not saying it can't work, but I am saying I'm skeptical.
Make it 2.5, then you can squeeze a little bit more in. I think anything more than 2.5 would be pushing it. Everyone says majority of superhero movies at 2 hours are pushing it, but they're not because they need time. They need time to develop the stories, introduce characters if needs be, and just sort of introduce where they're at the beginning. PS5 shipments to the US are reportedly up by 400% compared to September of last year, likely in effect to have units on store shelves ahead of God of War Ragnarok's launch on November 9th, which, funnily enough, is in 3 days at the part of this recording of this podcast. So I hope if there's any God of War fans, they will be watching it, or will be playing it, I should say, not watching it. See, on John Carpenter one now. I did mention this last week, but since you weren't here, I thought I'd bring it up again. Silent Hill 2 art director Masahiro Ito recently tweeted that some inspiration for Pyramid Head, arguably the most terrifying and iconic villain from the Silent Hill franchise, came from an unlikely source, being Braveheart. So that makes me wonder, was he Scottish underneath?
Interesting.
It is. Nexus mods user DJ_Kovarak uploaded a wannabe Edge Runner mod. This is Cyberpunk 2077, by the way. That adds a humanity stat into Cyberpunk 2077, which turns you Cyber Psycho if it drops to 0. which actually is in the Edge Runners anime edition in Netflix. So it's actually nice that someone's actually modded it to include another part of the Cyberpunk franchise.
You gotta love modders, man.
Yeah. I probably mentioned this as well with Fraser last week, but I'll just mention it again. Helena Taylor, the original English-speaking voice actor for Bayonetta, took social media to share that she didn't realize as being offered only $4,000 flat rate, which is wrong.
So first of all, I would tell you I would take $4,000. But that being said, Bayonetta has sold how many millions of copies as a franchise? Like that is my problem with it. $4,000 for likely what would be a week's worth of voiceover work, plus maintenance to the voice, isn't a bad pay. The problem is Bayonetta has sold millions upon millions upon millions of copies. Yeah. And at some point in time, the person who gave Bayonetta her voice should get her due.
Yeah.
And that's, I see a lot of people online, and, some of what they're saying is absolutely true, that, beggars can't be choosers in the voiceover game. Some of it you get paid very, very little. But in a case like that, where I think it's Sega is making hundreds upon millions of games, Sega and Platinum Games, you can afford to bump up your lead voice actress's rate of pay. I'm sorry, you can.
Yeah, well, you know how fickle business is nowadays. Everyone tries to get the cheapest option, even if it's not the best option.
Now, to be fair, I will say this. Her replacement for Bayonetta 3, Jennifer Hale, is a damn good voice actress.
Oh, I know.
I'm not. Yeah. So I will give her that. Or I will give them that. But the problem is, where is the loyalty anymore?
There's no loyalty. There just isn't. Hell, in fact, if you remember at DC, I don't even think DC Films this is. I don't even know where the loyalties lie anymore, because you had everyone trying to stop the Snyderverse being made. Then you had somebody who came in and said, yes, well, actually, we'll use the Snyderverse. And then you've got everyone else trying to stop a cameo in Black Adam.
Yep.
Sorry. Funny thing is, I still haven't seen Black Adam, but I'll just happily wait for it to come out. Moving it on a bit, Bandai Namco is putting on an Elden Ring concert, and it's improvisational jazz.
I'm interested.
The concert will put a new spin on the Elden Ring soundtrack as jazz legends Kenny Garrett and I apologize for butchering his name, Takuya Kuda take to the stage. The show will include recognizable melodies from the game's soundtrack performed live in jazz format with improvisation. How do you perform something in jazz format with improvisation? Isn't that what a lot of music is? Improvisation?
It depends. If it's just you and me, like just jamming, yeah, improvisation is huge. But not all music is improv. There's a lot of different theory classes you can take in order to make sure that your music is very composed in a sense.
But when you're in the recording studio, that's literally all it is. It is literally with improvisation. Right? How can we get this? How can we get this from to here? We'll improvise. Right? How do we improvise this? We'll do this and that.
I wouldn't say that's all music, though. Sometimes you've got your songs written, and in that case, you would have your music for your songs written. There might be a bit of improvisation in there, but in general, that wouldn't be improvised, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There are other songs, like, say, Through the Fire and Flames, where all of your music is, or all of your lyrics are written, but the music itself is just a giant jam session, and it's something that can never be fully replicated ever again.
Supervising
Huge fan of Dragon Force.
Supervising dialogue designer for God of War Ragnarok, Jody Kupsko, said in a recent video that actor Sonny Sujilic, I think that's how you pronounce his name, he's the one voicing Atreus. I can't even remember his name now. Remind me who's the hero of God of War. Honestly, my mind.
That would be Kratos.
Thank you, Kratos' son. Said in the recent video that actor Sonny Sujilic, who was voicing Atreus, Kratos' son. His voice changed dramatically throughout the several years on the title. Later following, we had to go in and even out the performance. Literally, it actually says in the things here. God of War Ragnarok's recordings went on so long, Atreus had to be edited after his actor voices dropped.
Makes sense.
Which is also a bit of a pain. But then again, it's nothing that nothing the editing studio can't sort out.
Well, here's the other thing too. Like voice work is usually done very early in a game's development for something like God of War. When you have your storyline and your plot written. In the case of something like that, you would have to go through rewrites and limitations and crunch and stuff like that. When that happens, you got to get the actors back into the booth. It makes sense to me that they would have to go back and even out the performance either in editing or re-recording if you've got a 4-year dev cycle, which you had for God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah. Some good news, chaps. When a fan showed concern about Marvel's Spider-Man 2 being delayed because of its radio silence, Insomniac Games' Twitter account assured them we're making good progress and still slated for 2023. I would like to know if it's still which part of 2023 it is. Is it early doors? Is it middle doors? Or is it later doors? I really want it to be early, but I don't want it to be too early because I want to have a great game.
You've got Insomniac. Very rarely will I say this, but you've got Insomniac. I don't think you have to worry.
Oh, I know. But there is those who are like, right, is this still happening in 2023 or do we have to wait another year? I think it's just because a lot of games in recent years have been put back a fair bit. It's not just games, though, because a lot of Marvel movies have been put back. A lot of DC movies have been put back. The excuses or the reasons are varied, but if somebody says they're putting it back for quality purposes, then not only does it get me a little bit worried, but it does make me wonder if it's worth buying the game. I will sort of explain that with Call of Duty when we get round to that, because I want to talk about that. I know, Nathan, you don't play that much. Fraser, you do play it, but there's always been one thing about Modern Warfare 2 that has sort of bothered me. This is not the old edition. This is the newest one that's literally just come out, but I'll get to it in a minute. Comcast has pulled the plug on G4, the network behind such series as X-Play, Attack of the Show, and more. This Fraser is what I believe Xavier Woods was doing. This is actually what Olivia Munn did before she was a serious actress and before she used lube to get into a certain costume, which will remain nameless.
Well.
Yeah, Overwatch 2 is out now. It's having its usual shakedown and report any bugs. Apparently, Overwatch 2 skin there's an Overwatch 2 skin which is now a McDonald's exclusive. It has the epic grade Tracer Lightning skin. Is seemingly only available to McDonald's in Australia, with no word as to whether the promotion was spread to the US or other regions. It serves the US right. They always get everything before everybody else. Now the Aussies are giving them a fair taste to see how it feels. I always hate it when the Americans get it before us. It's like it used to be in the olden days. They used to get movies months before we got them. And it was like, when are we ever going to get that piece of the pie first? We sort of get it, but we pay for it majority of the time. Like, with some series, I can get it straight away. But in the case of Hellraiser, Hulu members get it for free. And even though The Kardashians is on Hulu and Hulu's part of Disney, and I can watch The Kardashians for free on Disney Plus, I have to pay £10 on Amazon to buy Hellraiser, which is a Hulu exclusive. Can someone tell me how this friggin' logic is supposed to work all of a sudden?
For any sort of media nowadays, if you're passionate enough, you can get it day one. Importing exists, piracy exists. I'm going to be perfectly frank with you. I don't see why there isn't universal worldwide or near worldwide release for everything.
It would be nice, wouldn't
it? With the way that our economy has gone, we've gotten more and more globalized. Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
In a document responding to the UK's Competition and Markets Authority reference decision on the Activision Blizzard acquisition, Microsoft mentions Wolverine as one of the 5 PS5 console exclusives in 2023 to paint a picture of PlayStation's market position.
About the stupid merger deal.
Yeah.
I don't see why Microsoft is being so petty.
But they seem to think it's out next year, which is a plus sign. So at least we sort of know something.
We sort of know something based on what a publisher says, based on fiscal reports, which can always change. And if you're looking at fiscal 2023, it could also be out 2024.
It could. I will say one thing, though. I generally don't think this Activision Blizzard deal should go through.
Absolutely not.
It's not a case. It's not a case. It is a case at some point of there's too much money involved, because there is. But at the same time, Activision Blizzard, which makes basically Call of Duty as the main franchise, there's so much shit that's gone down in there that I think Microsoft has tried to get it for a pinch of what it should be, has got it, and basically will say, right, we don't even care about what's going on anymore. We're just going to make it. That is what I would do. I would sweep the previous regime's misdemeanors under the floor and start afresh. But I think there's too much at stake regards to anything and everything that Activision Blizzard makes.
So here's my big issue on this. If this goes through, then at what point is a monopoly in the tech world?
That was quite confusing to say, wasn't it? A monopoly in the even I can't say it.
When is a monopoly in the tech world?
Please show me how to
because
do that.
Years of practice, buddy.
Yeah, there you go.
But seriously, when you look at Activision Blizzard's back catalog, it is immense.
It is.
And it's one of those cases where I don't blame Sony or I don't blame Nintendo for trying to do everything that they can to block it. Because what in this deal is going to stop Microsoft from doing the logical business move, which is I'm going to put the Activision backlog on Game Pass. All on Game Pass. And if you're going to make a move going forward or a game going forward, it's going to be an Xbox exclusive. Or it's going to be an Xbox timed exclusive.
Yeah.
For something like Sony or first party Microsoft, I don't have a problem with this. But when you have Tony Hawk, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Call of Duty, obviously, I may hate the franchise, but that doesn't mean it doesn't make gangbusters. If all of those going on to one system, how is another one supposed to? And for the idea of Microsoft to say, well, I mean, Sony's got Wolverine coming out. Well, yeah, because they secured a license with Marvel for the Wolverine character in video games. That's
just like Spider-Man.
It's not the same. Microsoft could have went out and gone to Marvel and gone to Disney, done the same thing for that franchise. We're not talking about one franchise here, two franchises that Sony have reached out and got. We are talking about a plethora of gaming that could sooner or later only be available on one console.
Yeah. Also, don't forget Marvel's Midnight Suns as well, which I'm still not sure about.
Yeah.
As far as Call of Duty goes, I think Sony still have a contract in place.
They do, but that contract is only good for 3 years.
I was just about to say, I think it's for 3 years. But in fairness, to be honest with you, I think recently, aside from Cold War, I mean, I haven't played Modern Warfare, as in, I haven't the one, I'll say the rebooted one that came out about 3 years ago, but still you have to pay 70 quid for online unless it's in the sales. And the newest Modern Warfare 2. Aside from those 3 titles, there isn't really a Call of Duty I've been bothered about. Infinite Warfare is not really a Call of Duty title. It's like Call of Duty mixed in with Star Wars. Advanced Warfare I personally loved it because I'm a big sci-fi fan, as you two well know. Not everybody liked sci-fi. They didn't like the sci-fi setting. I must admit, I think it was Call of Duty. I can't remember which Call of Duty it was. But there was one, I can't remember which one it was, but it was like, we're talking yonkers ago on like PS3. I can't remember which one it was. But it was before Modern Warfare 2 and 3. Modern Warfare 2 and 3 was kind of like what really got me into Call of Duty, mainly the campaign mode and the Spec Ops missions in 2 and survival mode in 3, which I really enjoyed a lot. Now, that was when Call of Duty was at its finest. I haven't really enjoyed a lot of Black Ops, I'll be brutally honest. 1 is absolutely the best. I will not have anyone tell me otherwise. 2 was all right, but it was kind of shifting between 2 time zones. 3, I played for about 5 minutes and didn't even bother with it. Black Ops 4, which, hold on a minute, Black Ops 4, which one was Black Ops 4? I think, wasn't Black Ops 4 the one with no campaign in it?
That I'm not sure, actually. It's been like a while. I played like Black Ops 2 and then I didn't play for a while, and so Cold War.
Yeah, but you see, you missed Advanced Warfare, the only zombies game where you can actually have John Malkovich.
The problem is it doesn't really matter what 1 or 2 people think of Call of Duty. It still is one of, if not the biggest gaming franchise every single year.
Right, I'm going to say not every year because Vanguard really.
Well, it's still you're looking at reviews. Don't look at reviews. Sales-wise, Vanguard did great.
But I know there is a lot of Twitch gamers who do not like it.
Yeah, that's fine. Again, I'm not looking at what people like and what people don't. I'm looking at just pure grade A sales numbers. Bread and butter, because at the end of the day, don't kid yourself. That's all the console people care about. My issue with the giant Activision buyout to get it back onto back into context and back on topic here is if you've got a game that's successful in the Call of Duty franchise, if you've got a bunch of these other successful IPs that Sony is going to worry that were once coming to their console are now not, well, yeah, they should be worried. They should do everything in their power to block it. And at the end of the day, we're going to find out what is and isn't a monopoly.
Yeah. I do remember, I think it was Phil Spencer, who is the head of Xbox, saying Call of Duty will still be headed to PlayStation, but with all due respect, things can happen in 3 years. So they might have a falling out over something and then say, right, Call of Duty's not going on. The only reason he would let Call of Duty go on PlayStation is if they were absolutely positively sure they were going to get shitloads of money.
Yep.
That is the only reason. They wouldn't do it for any other reason. Same reason why Spider-Man has only just now come onto PC, because Sony knows they can get a handful for it. But what really pees me off is why do PC gamers have to pay a lot less for their games than the average console Joe?
Oh, for their games?
Yeah.
That's easy.
I'll give you an instance. I actually had someone say they bought F1 Manager for about 20 quid on Steam, but yet on PlayStation I had to pay £43 for it, and that was with discount.
Again, easy. There's more than one game store out there for that specific console. For your PC, If Epic doesn't have the game you want, or if Epic has it but at a more expensive price than Steam, well, that's great. Go to Steam. If not, well, great. Humble Bundle is a thing. There are tons of of different ways that you can go about getting your games on that one platform. So what people will do, because there isn't a monopoly or something stopping there, is they're going to leverage those sales. They're going to leverage. I know that Steam sometimes will do beta openings or early access. They're going to do those things to separate themselves from the pack. And some of them will cut prices right away quick.
Because the one thing I actually like about Steam is that a lot of their games are cheap, whereas we the PlayStation gamers who want to buy something off PlayStation Store for like a €4 game, thinking, yeah, it's going to be literally peanuts. No, €4 game,
Nope.
about 70 quid.
I
actually had a look at 2019's Modern Warfare. It's still on for 80 quid. See, this is what's always bugged me with the Call of Duty franchise. This is not so much the franchise as a whole. This is more to the people who sell it. Surely, if you have a new edition of the next game coming up, surely you would try and flog as many old copies as you can instead of making us fork out more for a game we ain't going to want to fork out for. See, that's what's always bugged me, and I hate it. It's like, I do want to play Modern Warfare because I want to sort of get caught up on the story before I head to Modern Warfare 2. But with all due respect, I am not paying £70 for a game that nobody probably plays anymore. The only reason you would have Modern Warfare is for all the I can't remember what missions they were, like Spec Op missions, or you actually had Modern Warfare when it came out for Warzone, which everybody, to be honest with you, you can use Warzone for just about any Call of Duty title now. So, but yes, I just really wish someone would sort out fucking call it the prices on bloody PlayStation and everywhere else just for Call of Duty. I really hate the fact that you have to pay over the odds for a game that's 3 years old, maybe more even.
I understand that, but here's the thing: if you're going to go digital with PlayStation, where else are you going to go? Or Microsoft, where else are you going to go? Yeah, sure, those places can sell codes, but at the end of the day, there is no competitor to any of those things. I know it was Apple, and somebody got into a huge lawsuit territory because Apple wouldn't allow their game on the Mac App Store, and there was no other way to get games onto the Mac Surface. But it's like that with everything nowadays with digital. So I'm interested to see how that lawsuit goes. Maybe we would see something like a Steam for the PlayStation 5, for the Xbox Series X. And if we do, who knows where that's going to take gaming? Because Lord knows, I don't know.
It might take a turn for the worse, or definitely for a turn for the better. Just going to move it on. A dedicated fan has archived every PlayStation 2 game manual in 4K. In celebration of PS2's 22nd anniversary, yes, it's been 22 years, I know, an archivist named Kirkland posted a complete collection of the booklets that came in PS2 game cases. Just for reference, that's nearly 1,800 titles plus around 100 variants, art books, mini guides, and comics. So what he should have done was actually hire Fraser to archive the comics.
I don't care. I don't care. I'm not even going to joke about that. That guy is serious, and he should be given a big round of applause for what he has done. Thank you, sir.
A big pat on the back and probably beers for the rest of his life.
Oh yeah.
Sony. Well, you can wish. Elden Ring challenge runner Gino Macchino took 2 months to strategize and then 1 month to actually beat the game without taking any damage.
That's incredible.
That's shocking, but everything is due to be beaten every once in a while. Marvel has entered an agreement with FIFA and Battlefield publisher EA. This is not, but to be honest, when I read this, I thought maybe, but then it has sort of not filled me with much hope, but we'll see. They made a deal with EA to make 3 games based on the Marvel Comics. This deal will begin with a previously announced Iron Man game from EA Motive, although details on what comes after are still unknown. Can we have something that doesn't involve the Avengers from the movies? That would actually be nice. But it just depends how we're going to play it. Obviously, EA made Dead Space, even though I've never really played Dead Space, I do know of it, and I do know that it is my cup of tea if I can ever find it. And by the way, I am not paying £70 for a remastered edition. I would have to be bonkers out of my mind to do that. So come on, Mr. Comic Book Expert. Marvel and EA have signed a 3-game deal starting with Iron Man. Your thoughts?
EA hasn't done a good game in a while, so I'm not holding out hope.
Excuse me. Are you criticizing Jedi Fallen Order?
I was about to say Jedi Fallen Order 2. Who's the dev behind the Iron Man game?
It doesn't say. To be honest with you, it just says Marvel and EA. There's a bit more reason to find out.
Okay, so there is cause for concern, but EA has got some damn good developers behind them. It all depends on how EA markets the game and what EA intends to do with the game with regards to stuff like microtransactions and time crunch and rushing, the things that neither gamers nor developers like.
Well, put it this way, it can't be any worse than the Marvel's Avengers, which everyone thought was going to be free to play, and then they turned it into a microtransactions heaven. And by the way, that is on PlayStation PS Plus Essentials, but I still haven't played it, nor do I want to.
You're not missing much after the story mode. There's not really anything, so...
That's why I haven't bothered, mate. I've spent more time playing Mafia and Mafia 2 Definitive Edition. I've got Mafia 3 to come after that.
Think of it this way, I was going to grind it as Spider-Man, but even Spider-Man couldn't save that game for me, so...
In fairness, I think I played Spider-Man once, but there's just no finishing it after... the one thing that really bugs me is when you literally finish an entire game, you should have a cutscene where it ends, instead of having certain games like Spider-Man, like the original Spider-Man from Insomniac, where you finish the game, you finish all the side missions, and then you just literally... just doing crimes that you've already done and should actually be in there, but it's not. I just hate stuff like that. It's like, why can't we just finish the fucking game? Xbox boss Phil Spencer said he understands why players are frustrated by the lack of major Xbox-only games, but only that 2023 is set to be a big year with Starfield, Redfall, and Forza Motorsport 8. Not very often I mention Xbox stuff on here, but I think for the Xbox player that we have, well, the one that we have, it might be nice to introduce a bit of Xbox news. I was saying that, Nathan, you did actually say you were going to do a Nintendo Switch special.
I was at one point in time, and I still need to worry about doing that. So here's the thing. Yeah, Xbox and their exclusives, not all that many of them. Nor is there really any incentive right now. I'm sorry to have to be the bearer of bad news. Xbox has got Game Pass.
I must admit, PlayStation Essential it's not so much disappointing. I will admit I have enjoyed Mafia and Mafia 2. The thing is, though, there isn't exactly much choice after that. There's all the games that you know and love, Borderlands, which you probably already played. To be honest with you, I actually asked a while ago, should I keep PlayStation Essential and should I keep PS Premium? If I end up getting Modern Warfare 2, which I probably will be getting, I am actually thinking of giving PS Premium a break for a year and then seeing what they deliver. Because Fraser knows this all too well. Call of Duty is a game that will literally, you will be, what's the word I'm looking for? Not so much fascinated by, but it will, a Call of Duty game will consume you from the inside out. Every night you must play it without fail. The only reason you wouldn't play it is if you got severely bored of it. Or the next Call of Duty game came out, and then you want that as well. But yeah, I will go through that a bit more, but that's the point. I generally have enjoyed the extra spending the extra 20 quid and all the games that I got 20 quid. I will say one thing. I would like to break for a year and see what PlayStation do, because when I joined, they literally were brand new to the game, so they'll have a year to beef up essentials, beef up premium, hopefully increase the space in the trials, because I still think some of them are a bit unfair. Because WWE 2K22 is literally 2 hours, whereas Horizon Forbidden West, which I still think should be a 2-hour demo, is actually 5, or 2-hour or should be a 2-hour trial is actually 5. I'm kind of thinking, how many people would rather play WWE 2K22 than Horizon Forbidden West?
Not many.
Exactly. So that's why WWE 2K22 should have a 5-hour trial, and that's why Horizon Forbidden West should have a 2-hour trial.
But do you understand here? Like, that is in the hands of the developers to put them up. The only real requirement that Sony has is that any game that goes up for a game trial is 2 hours or more.
I know, but with certain games, not so much WWE 2K20. Let me finish.
I get that. You're going to have to convince the developers, though. That's what I'm telling you.
Horizon Forbidden West, the newest one, that's probably one of the most eagerly anticipated games that there is. Are you seriously telling me you would want somebody to play it for 5 hours and then realize that they literally have to buy the entire half of the game, when surely you want them to only play about a quarter of it and have their appetite met to the point where they would buy it at full price?
Well, what I'm saying is, again, you're going to have to convince the developers. Sony's only real requirement is 2 hours or more. So it's up to the developers to choose, right, we want our game to be a premium trial for 2 hours. Perfect example as to where this can work with a bit of a longer trial is something like a Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, where you've got literally 30, 40 hours of gameplay. Something like that would work 4 or 5 hours. But again, that's in the hands of the developers. And it's every developer specific. That's not something to condemn Sony for. That's something to go to every individual developer for and ask them, okay, what is the purpose of this game trial for us? And go there.
Yeah, that is fair enough. But I'm sort of looking at it from a video game company selling a game. It's like when Suicide Squad comes out next year. Everybody will want a 5-hour trial, but more than likely Rocksteady, if they decide to do it, will only put a 2-hour trial out, which is what you want. You don't want everyone to go about 5 hours into the game when really you would rather have them go, right, I don't know how long the campaign mode is yet, because that hasn't actually, I don't think it's been announced. Let's put a 2-hour trial on so they only go so far, so that they don't ruin it or a chance of ruining it for everyone else, which, let's face it, a lot of people do. There's games like new MotoGP one. You could happily have a 5-hour trial on that, because that could be an entire career mode, so you can see what's what. As far as Tiny Tina goes, I'd say 2 hours would be fine. But the thing is about Horizon Forbidden West, it is one of the most highly anticipated games that there is. And there are those who will spoil it and say, right, I've had a 5-hour trial of Horizon Forbidden West. This happens, yada, yada, yada. You don't. You want to keep spoilers to a minimum. That's why you have a game like that for 2 hours. And with all due respect to WWE, that's why you have that 5 hours. Hell, we could even have a head-to-head in my GM, mate, if that'd be the case.
If it was 5 hours?
Yeah.
If you jumped right into my GM and did not look for other superstars, yeah, you probably could.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
But again, you're going to have to convince the developers. You're talking to the wrong crowd.
I would happily try, mate.
Yeah.
Speaking of God of War Ragnarok, I do actually have a review from IGN here. They've actually given it 10 out of 10, which is, well, I'm not sure about that yet because I haven't seen any more, but basically what they say is an enthralling spectacle to behold, and even more exciting one to take reins of. God of War Ragnarok melds action and adventure together to create a new unforgettable Norse saga, reflecting its core themes. It's everything a sequel should be, respectful of its legendary lineage, but not afraid to take it to new exciting places. I'll hold judgment on that because I still haven't played I haven't played 2018, I think it is.
You need to play 2018, man. You absolutely need to. You got a PS5. There's no excuse, and it's a great game. It's a fantastic game.
The question is, how much disk space is it going to cost me?
How much disk space is it going to cost? I'm not sure that's out yet, but if how much disk space is 2018 going to cost you?
Yep.
I think it's between 38 and 50 gigs.
I think I might be able to afford that. It's not as if it's like it's not as if it's like 260 gigabytes, which was like Ops Cold War was. And I think I'm sure that was for the multiplayer mode.
Yeah, you're not going to be hurt that bad with God of War Ragnarok. You just aren't.
Yeah. When I get round to it, I'll play it. I'm just deciding when to get Call of Duty.
I can tell you this. I've played God of War 2018. I'm hyped up for God of War Ragnarok. 2018 was damn good, and Ragnarok just seems to be a step up.
Hideo Kojima news here. Hideo Kojima has been quoted as saying some of the offers to buy his studio. Some of these offers are ridiculously high prices, but it's not that I want money. I want to make what I want to make. That's why I created this studio. So as long as I'm alive, I don't think I'll ever accept these offers.
Fair.
Literally, it is Hideo Kojima till I die. Literally.
Fair.
Could you actually make that into a song? I'm Hideo Kojima till I die.
Who knows?
You can actually imagine that being played at his funeral with all the game developers just come there just to pay respects and say, and literally have it go out saying, I'm Hideo Kojima till I die.
So here's the thing: if you want to have that much artistic integrity, all for it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why Kojima left Konami.
Because they wouldn't do what he wanted. So
no, he wanted to make games that he wanted to make. He wanted to delay Metal Gear Solid 5 until it was absolutely perfect.
This is actually a bit of movie news and gaming news. So I will be repeating this next week. The Last of Us, which is on HBO, will be released as a release date here on HBO Max of January 15th, which means that there's two ways to look at it. I do have Sky, so I will either get it on the same night, a week later, or a month later, or even the hour versus favorite trend, which is 3 months later. Unfortunately. I am really sorry to say this, boys, but the topic is actually about a topic I've known for a couple of weeks. I did want to do last week, wasn't it? Nathan wasn't here. It's actually quite hard because I do absolutely love these guys. I love them not in that sense, but I do literally love these guys so much.
What is it about Adam Sandler and Kate Bosworth?
It's about Adam Sandler and Kate Bosworth. I just can't remember what it is. Yeah, it is. Rocksteady co-founders Sefton Hill and Jamie Walker, who helped to create the Batman series, as well as next year's Suicide Squad cover Justice League, are leaving the studio for a new adventure in gaming. My heart sank to my feet when I saw this. Obviously, we don't need to tell everyone about the Batman Arkham trilogy minus Origins because they are
terrible games. Nobody should ever want to play them.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's an idea. Why don't you boycott Suicide Squad? Kill the Justice League. in protest. I know I would, having Harley as the main person. What a joke.
In an open letter, Warner Brothers Interactive president David Haddad said, "We have Suicide Squad coverage nearly finished. Both guys have decided to leave Rocksteady at the end of this year, 2022, and will be getting a new adventure game. It's not yet clear what their new adventure will be. But it's not just a major change in leadership, but also on the creative side, with Hill having directed all of Rocksteady's Arkham games beautifully as well, I might add. And he's doing Suicide Squad as well. Helen Walker will be replaced by Nathan Berlow, a studio director, and Darius Sadigan, I think that's how you pronounce his name, as studio product director. But, boys, I actually have a statement here. He said, "Our decision to leave Rocksteady was emotional, to say the least. From the day we founded the company in 2004, Jesus Christ, all the way to today, Rocksteady has been our life and soul. It's given us the opportunity to do what we love most, make great games and exceptionally talented people. We are so proud of the team here for the games we have all made together, from our first game, Urban Chaos, which I didn't even know existed until I read this, to the much-loved Arkham series, and now the epic Suicide Squad. But there is something extra special about Rocksteady that goes beyond the games we make, and everyone who works here feels it. It's the incredible moments." Excuse me, let me just find it. "That we've shared over the years, the friendships made, and the care this team has for each other that have made this unforgettable journey so special. We believe people wear their Rocksteady t-shirts with pride because of how we treat each other and how it feels to be here. We want to thank the team for their hard work and everything they've been." Basically, to be fair, there's about another 2 pages, but I'm just going to leave it with us. "Some of our proudest moments happened because of this team's energy and talent. Getting a chance to work with Warner Brothers and DC on Batman, the wonderful Arkham games being way more than we could possibly imagine, the chance to work with some of our childhood heroes, giving back to the industry we love so much by helping budding games makers, and finally building a culture here where people can just be themselves and together make great games. Gentlemen, I will say one thing, I like this previously said, I was mortified by this. But if they've chosen to move on, there isn't really that much we can do. But the only thing we really can do is honour those 3 games, because those 3 games, as far as I was concerned, was a game changer in not only the comic book gaming landscape, but also in mine, because until I played Arkham Asylum, I would never have gone for a game like that. And now there was a time when Arkham Asylum and City as times went on, was all I wanted to play. And what also helped, I feel, was obviously having the best Batman and Joker duo that has ever existed in like all of the world.
Wait, there are other Batman and Joker duos? Seriously?
Nah, I'm joking. There's not really anybody that compares.
Yeah. Who the hell are you gonna get? Jared Leto? Christian Bale? Come on! Nobody except a British producer would like those two.
He's not wrong when he says that as well, because the producer does actually like them too. Oh, sorry, she likes Heath Ledger, but it wouldn't surprise me if Jared Leto was in there somewhere.
Ledger couldn't lick the spit from under my spat. So here's the thing.
I actually lost where I was sending it towards it. Carry on. Since you started, you might as well.
All right, yeah, that's fine. I'll go. They made the decision to leave themselves. You've done pretty well everything you could do in the Bat universe. What else is there for them to do? You've cultivated a culture that is an anomaly in the gaming world. And I'm sure there's crunch, but nothing's really come out about how Rocksteady is treated or how the publisher has treated them. In fact, the biggest scandal I can think of that came out of Rocksteady under these guys' watch was that the PC version of Arkham Knight, which was...
I remember that.
Yeah, you remember the PC version of Arkham Knight. More of an issue of who they offloaded it to for porting and WB Games themselves and Rocksteady. Nobody had a problem with the meat and potatoes of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And to have something like that, and to have banger after banger in Batman, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight, and then a probable banger, let's be honest, in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. A great way, fantastic way to end, a quadrilogy for the renaissance of comic book games, because you're right. I can only think of one game, or maybe two, that would at all come close to what the Arkham trilogy was able to do. Spider-Man 2, and this is prior to them, by the way.
Yeah.
This is prior to them. Spider-Man 2, by Activision and Treyarch, and Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction.
Oh, that's going back to it.
Because the until you got the Arkham franchise, which really popularized this concept, those were the only two games where you really felt like you were insert superhero here. And the other thing too, you can look at the contemporaries and you can look at the way of superhero gaming in the case of, say, Spider-Man, or I'm sure in the upcoming Wolverine, and they're going to take that philosophy and continue on with it. You could even see that in, do you remember, I think it was Activision and I think Beanox and had the Wolverine game. I remember the emphasis was on being M-rated Wolverine. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
With Jackman voicing it, and it was a lot of people were like, this is in the vein of Arkham Asylum, Arkham City. You were Wolverine. If you take a look at the Deadpool game by High Noon Studios, just the tone of it and the authenticity of it, I'm sure none of that would have happened if Arkham Asylum and Arkham City weren't such bangers.
Nope. And obviously, it does actually help that the best Batman and Joker duo were actually voicing Batman and Joker.
We'll see.
To be honest with you, boys, would we really have bought it if it was anybody else?
So here's the thing. I can actually attest to this. Arkham Knight was a very special game for me, in that I had gotten it for 45% off on pre-order, because it was an E3 deal. I had delayed. I was contemplating canceling that game until I heard a review spoil that Mark Hamill was in the game.
Yeah. I sort of heard that some people were saying the Joker was dead, but Hamill was in it. To be fair, he was in it, just not in the way we thought he was going to be.
I don't care. You need to have Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. That is the one prereq for me buying any Batman game. I've got to have Batman and Joker sound like Batman and Joker. I know we were talking a lot about Bayonetta and paying voice actors what they're worth. For me, having those two in these games completes the illusion for me that this is Gotham, this is Batman, this is Joker, because I can never accept anyone fully doing their take on Batman and Joker without comparing them to the Conroy and the Hamill.
But to be fair, we do that with everyone.
Well, yeah, but with Batman, with Batsy and Joker, it's different because it's a lot more stringent, because they did such a great job outside of those three games that it's cultivated, at least for me, a requirement that this is what Batman sounds like. This is what Joker sounds like. Yeah. I mean, Spider-Man, we've got a ton of great voice actors, and we have a disagreement here on the podcast. You've got Christopher Daniel Barnes for Dean and Josh Keaton for me, and from what I remember, Drake Bell for Fraser.
Yuri Lorthenthal.
Yeah. But here's the thing: it doesn't matter whether you love Drake Bell like Fraser does. You can still have like voices for Spider-Man where you're like, yeah, you know what, that fits. That's fine. That's good. Like your Yuri Lowenthal's of the world who did Spider-Man 2018. But with Batman and Joker, there really is only one for our generation, and that is Conroy Hamill.
Right? Can we rephrase that? That's the combo for us.
Yeah,
we are actual gamers. We actually appreciate the Batman and Joker that we actually like. Whereas the producer doesn't play games, and for some strange reason, it's completely a miss to the fact that Hamill and Conroy are the best.
No, go ahead, Hamill and Joker.
I was going to say Hamill and Joker, man. Well, put it this way, it's not a proper podcast if I don't cock up at least once.
There you go.
So, Fraser, this is the part where you have your say.
When it comes to Batman and Joker, there's only Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy. There's no other relationship like that. They took what the animated series was, and they built a solid foundation that you can tell a lot of people take inspiration from until this very day. So
absolutely.
Like they know each other so well. They played it off. Basically, whenever they do the role, it just adds on to everything. Even if you think about it in like a multiverse kind of way.
I'm glad you brought that up.
And they fail to recreate that all the time. And any other medium of doing it, I've never seen a Batman and Joker relationship quite like that.
Again, DC Universe multiverses. I'm glad you brought that up. Who's Batman in that game?
Kevin Conroy.
And if they have their way, who is likely going to be Joker in that game? At least if you've heard what we've heard and seen what we've seen.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, exactly. And by my looking at things for this, they will be the longest serving ones of your DC representatives in that game.
Yeah. Which I believe. Hold on a minute. Are we on about just the game, or are we on about?
No, we're looking at. I'm just looking at DC Universe multiverses and how you're going with either your current voice or your most recognizable voices.
Jason Momoa has been playing Batman for about 10 years, but that's still 3 decades. That's not as enough. That's not as many as Conroy has.
Conroy's been doing it for just over 30 years. Hamill's been doing Joker for just about over 30 years. And they keep getting work, and they keep coming back, and they're so damn beloved that you want to know something, they're going to keep on coming back.
Yeah.
So for Rocksteady and WB to go out and get those guys, it really speaks volumes to how much they care about the source material. But really, at the end of the day, so long as the culture at Rocksteady doesn't change, and so long as the creative vision of Rocksteady and the focus on quality doesn't change, losing these two, yes, it's going to suck, but think about where they're going to go. Think about what they're going to change. Think about what they're going to do.
Or what they could do.
Yeah, or what they could do. Rocksteady, they've built a damn good work environment if the biggest scandal to come out about Rocksteady didn't really involve them.
Yeah.
And you've got a pedigree for fantastic games that were due in no small part to those two.
Mm-hmm.
So
I can just imagine the meme now. Rocksteady going by, Activision, the meme where there's a fit woman going by, and then there's a guy and his girlfriend. He's looking at her. She's like, why? So just imagine this meme. Rocksteady is the fit chick. Activision studio heads or Activision workers are the guy, and Activision just look at them like, why would you go there? But it's quite simple because Rocksteady is a fucking great company. Granted, we've never met anyone, but the fact that they've made 3 games that we love will sort of put a bit of a ish over Arkham Knight because it was good, but it was the other 2. But yeah, it does actually make it sound like it's the gaming company where everybody would go, where not one person is as highly regarded, as in the same sort of highly regard as everybody else. So it does actually sound like they've built quite the nice company to work for. But I would really like to know. I'd really like to do a not so much a questionnaire, but a survey about how many people who actually work at Rocksteady actually love being at Rocksteady to the point they would never leave. If they build that much of a good working environment, why would anyone leave? Why would anyone want to leave? That is actually a genuine question.
If they wanted to start their own studio, if they wanted to change a career.
Yeah. So I don't know if these two have got anything else to add. I will just let them say their thing before I speak for all of us.
Go ahead, Fraze. You've been quiet. I'm glad I could help you take
You
a
have been
podcast off.
quiet. By the way, speaking of game trials, you know what should be on game trial for 5 hours? Peppa Pig.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? We should petition PlayStation Plus right now. Put Peppa Pig on the December PlayStation Plus Essentials list.
Better still, we should make it January 2023 is when it can be a happy new year for it.
Oh my God! Now you're speaking my language. I mean, just think about it. If it came out right on January 1st,
I'm just trying to picture his face when they go, Fraser, some good news. You're gonna have a happy new year. By the way, Peppa Pig's out on PlayStation Essentials.
Don't worry. Jess has already given us your PlayStation login info.
Yes,
I've sent it to download as soon as you turn on your PlayStation. No need to thank me, buddy.
You know what? I'll get the game at some point. Every time Pepper talks, Nathan has to dub over with his favorite voice commentator.
You know what? If you buy the game, I'll do that for you. No problem.
Next to me, I'll go and see how much it is.
You buy the game, I'll do it for you.
I'll keep that in mind then.
Yeah.
Right, 1 minute.
It's not a problem. Adine?
Oh, hold on, I might have it here. That's Peppa Pig released.
No, so basically, right now, Fraze, it is on sale in Canada for $32.10 plus taxes on the PlayStation Store. And if you want the My Friend Peppa Pig Pirate Adventures expansion, it is available for $3.50 on the PlayStation Store.
Wow.
You know, and if you get the game to sweeten the pot, because I know how much you love Peppa Pig, I will be more than happy to do a Let's Play with you where I dub over all of Peppa Pig's lines. I don't care.
Because that'd be amazing.
I don't care. I don't care. I'll do that.
Oh, My Friend Peppa Pig is actually on sale for £21, Fraser.
Yeah. £21, $32.
Well, hold on a minute. Here's what it is, because that's actually the description bit. It says, parental control easily set a time limit in settings. Peppa ends the game when playtime is over. Now, how long should we dictate how long Fraser's playtime?
Well, I don't care. He buys the game, I'll dub over the lines. I don't care.
Learn an adventure with your new friend. Well, what can he learn? What can he adventure?
Always talk to strangers, Fraser.
I'm pretty sure that's the opposite of what I'm supposed
So,
to do.
And the
a lot of
best
special things that can happen.
Fraser, the best bit, you only need 4 gig on your PS5, and you're good.
Probably.
No, you only need 4 gig.
Yeah, so basically, it takes up next to nothing on your hard drive.
Yep. It's not as if it's a Call of Duty where it takes literally everything in your hard drive.
No, I just want a Call of Duty Peppa Pig.
Yeah, I wonder
Okay.
if we could I wonder if we could get the lady or the lad who plays Peppa Pig to be the next Captain Price. That would be fun.
That would be hilarious.
I know. So, with that being said, gents, I think we should finish it off by giving our thanks for having two guys having the balls to bring Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy into the gaming world. And I'm going to be brutally honest, the many, many hours I happily played Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, going through every range of emotion as you do. So, 1 second. So, Sefton Hill, Jamie Walker, thank you very much for pointing me in a new direction as far as a game, as a certain genre game goes. Thank you for actually making me petrified of Scarecrow. Yes, they're on Arkham Asylum. There's 3 levels where you are literally petrified. I must admit, I don't know whose idea it was to actually have Batman's Rogues Gallery or Alfred say words when you die. That's actually proper genius. But seriously, guys, if it weren't for you two, I wouldn't have played Batman Arkham Asylum, which means I wouldn't have played Arkham City, and I wouldn't have played Arkham Origins. Sorry, Arkham Asylum. I don't know why I said Origins. It's probably because it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. And I definitely would not look as much as I would to Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Now, I do hope that Mark Hamill is not in this because I can't do with another. Yeah, Mark Hamill's retired. He's not going in this. Oh, yes, Mark Hamill is in this. Yeah, I can't be doing with that. But seriously, guys, thanks for everything you've done, and thanks for literally making however many hours I spent on those Arkham games probably the best that I've ever done. Well, put it this way, they're the less stressful I've ever done. Not as if F1 Manager isn't stressful enough trying to run your own F1 team. But yeah, thanks, seriously, boys. Thanks very much. And if you ever fancy coming on for a bit of a Q&A session with us boys, us Arkham fans, then you're more than welcome to. So that's me done. Who's next?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today is the day the clown cried. Batman, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Origins allowed me to believe in the supervillain again, pulling all the strings, doing all the little things, making old Batsy's life a living hell. You did that. You.
But aside from that, I don't think I can sum it up any better than Dean did when it comes to, the memories that we have of those great games. I wish you the best of luck going forward. I thank you for what you have given us. I thank you for what you've inspired in the industry. And I hope whatever you choose to do has the same penchant for quality as those 3 games and likely Suicide Squad.
I still remember the day I got Arkham City. Call of Duty just came out, and the guy's just going Call of Duty over the counter. He makes eye contact. He goes, Call of Duty. I'm like, actually, no, I'm here for Batman Arkham City. And he's like, congratulations, you're the only guy I haven't sold COD to today. And I played that game like over and over again. Like I just remember spending hours and hours just playing it and having a lot of fun. It's probably been my favorite games I've ever played on the PlayStation. So Rock City, I don't know how you're ever going to top that series, but good luck if you try.
So I've actually put in a request to the producer to actually get these boys on here so we can thank them in person. I do hope we get that because I think we've spent so many hours playing, shitting ourselves, enjoying the brilliant stories that they've told. And also, a bit, if I'm being honest, there's been a few tears as well, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Particularly in Arkham City, there has been more than a few tears. So I will say one thing. In fact, I actually, first pre-order I actually got of Arkham City was, I don't know if if it was just exclusive in England, but I got Arkham City, an Arkham Asylum T-shirt, and I think I've got a prologue comic book which basically explained what happened between Asylum and City, and I really wish that T-shirt still fitted me, but it doesn't. But I don't know if I still have it or not, but that was probably the best 40 quid I ever spent. And by the way, does that not make you feel a bit sad when a brand new Arkham City game with extras will cost you 40 quid? And now that doesn't even get you half a game for 40 quid. That kind of actually makes me feel a bit sad at the same time.
Yep.
Oh, so on that rather sad note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. We appreciate the one single viewer who tunes in every week and still makes us do podcasts because that's what we are here to do. We are here to entertain. And for once, I don't actually have to do Nathan's. I don't have to do Nathan's socials for him, so he can do them himself. So, Nathan, since you have been away for 3 weeks,
I come back for one lovely gaming special, and all of a sudden it's, since you're back here, why not do all the work? Because I'm Dean Connolly, the Brit with the tits from Jersey, and I can't stand doing work. Let me tell you, but ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you want to find me, Dean Connolly from Jersey, check out my website at www.ilovekatebosworth.com. And if you want to check out my friend Nathan, check out www.deathpixie.ca. If you want to hire him for your voiceover opportunities or commission him for some of your own stuff, or just plain talk to him, www.deathpixie.ca is the best way to get hold of him.
Can I just say that's literally what I said for 2 straight weeks. I was so proud of myself. Goes to show that my brain still works on so
Wait, hang on. That is literally what you said. So you actually have a website that says www.ilovekatebosworth.com?
Not literally.
I am so happy because that is exactly what you said. I am so happy that it's finally out in the open phrase. He finally admitted it.
Dean, what is the Jersey of England anyway?
I'll have you know it's wherever the hell I'm from.
Hold on a minute. I just trying to think, where is Jersey?
But yeah, what would be the England?
Yeah, there was a Jersey Shore, then there was a Geordie Shore. So
yeah, what's the English equivalent?
The thing is, majority, I'll say 99.9% of people in Geordie land are lovely. It's just the fact that Geordie Shore was kind of just about getting drunk every single day, and I don't really think it gave everyone a good reputation.
That's England in a nutshell.
Well, not a good reputation.
Well, no, they just get drunk all the time. You ever tried drinking with a Brit? It's a good thing I, Dean Connolly, am from Jersey. Because, oh man, if I wasn't, I would lose so many bets with Brits.
You do actually know that James Storm once said that English beer is stronger than American beer.
I'm well aware of that. That's why I said I'm happy to be from Jersey. I'd lose against the Brits.
Do you know what? He sounds like a lot of characters I've been playing in Mafia recently. Are you sure you're not a Mafia boss in the previous life?
All right, Nathan, Canadian Dean.
Oh yeah, this is a great time, eh?
I'm sorry,
oh yeah, this is a great time, eh? I want to get down to the pitch and putt with my wife, Kate. And then go down to the Who Scout and ask what the hell is that all about. I'm Dean Connolly. I'm Dean Connolly.
Sorry, it is Canadian because it's all a boot.
All about.
Yeah, so can you tell me what Shawn Michaels is all about?
Well, I mean, to be perfectly
Rhetorical,
frank,
don't even answer.
I mean, to be perfectly frank with you, Dane, I didn't know you felt that way about Shawn Michaels, but if you insist. Guys, Shawn Michaels is the greatest wrestler in the history of the world. I'm so glad I can finally say that live on podcast. I, Dean Connolly, the Brit with the tit from Joycey, love myself some Heartbreak Kid. You want to know what he's all about? He's all about training heroes.
Can I just say one thing? I've actually made an boot turn and changed my mind. Yes, I'm just literally going to say everything that I can with a boot in it.
I'm glad you enjoy a boot.
I do enjoy my boot a lot.
No, that's good. Hi, I'm Michael Fraser.
He enjoys my booty a lot. My booty a lot.
Hi, I'm Michael Fraser. You may know me from such successful comics as Paranormal Patrollers. I am here to tell you that Paranormal Patrollers is actually live on Webtoons right now. No, I'm not kidding you. As a matter of fact, I have the great and wonderful Professor Phil Woods with me to tell you all about Paranormal Patrollers. Yes, hello, it is I, the great Professor Phil Woods! And as my glorious creator, Michael Fraser, said, Paranormal Patrollers is available on Webtoons right now. If you want to go see spine-tingling tales of terror, or if you would like to complain because yours truly, Phil Woods, isn't nearly in enough of the comic, then why not go to www.webtoons.com and search up Paranormal Patrollers!
You forgot to plug your web series.
Oh, what web series? The Adventures of Phil Woods?
Yep, that one.
The one that's available on Spotify and just about everywhere where Final Cut Presents a Director's Cut podcast is
exactly
available on. That one. The one where you, Michael Fraser, said that you do not have a creative bone in your body and went back to your other writing staff for.
Apparently.
The one where Vincent Kennedy McMahon hijacked it and said, and I quote, "If this doesn't make Fraser love me, nothing will. Da 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 da. Peppa Pig, oink."
Well, according to him, he's playing you. So
what? He was not.
Yep. Apparently, he's playing you.
What?
Yep. In the
That's impossible. Yeah, I didn't want to tell anybody, but Fraser, he made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I play the great Professor Phil Woods, and Fraser agrees to drop the restraining order. I can be as close to my sweetie boo as I want. Me, the great Professor Phil Woods! Yeah. How could you compromise your comic's integrity by having this octogenarian, thank you, octogenarian troglodyte take over my role on Paranormal Patrollers?
He said it was your idea. He said you were all for it. He's got the Polish documents here, and
yeah, I may or may not have lied about that part of it. But let's be honest here. The comic sucked. It needed star power. And what better way to get star power than with me, Vincent Kenny McMahon? Hey, what about the Joycey Patrollers? The Paranormal Patrollers from Joycey, starring me, Dean Connolly.
I'm so glad nobody I work with listens to my podcast, otherwise I'd just be having Jersey accents all over the place.
You know what, dude? You know what? If this gets 10,000 downloads, I will put Jersey Dean as a patroller. I will find
watch again, download all you want. Our pathway to 10,000 begins with a single step. Only 10,000 views, and my dream of paranormal Jersey patrollers, starring me, Dean, the Brit with the tip from Jersey, finally comes forth.
I can't. I am literally broke.
Do you want me to sing the Paranormal Patrollers theme song from Jersey?
Oh God, no.
Da 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 Peppa Pig, oink.
Isn't that Fraser's favourite game that he so adamantly denies?
Right, well, you see, that was the only song that was there, so... I mean, one thing leads to another. That's the only thing you can really think of.
And speaking of one thing leads to another, since Fraser, I think, has done the socials and you have, I have yet to do mine. So you can find me on Instagram on Final Cut Official. The one thing I will say regarding Twitter is that a lot of people are vacating Twitter. Alan Richardson, who plays Chuck,
I believe it is called Muskville now.
Alan Richardson is leaving Muskville. He's actually put a post on his Instagram saying to leave this Twitter. Chrissy Teigen has already left. Jamelia Jamil's already left. So basically, Instagram now is the place to be. Come and join me. Well, actually, come and join me and the producer, because the producer is kind of like Instagram heavy. Doesn't really.
Or you can come and join Dean on Muskville, because we all know that's going to succeed. Oh, by the way, $10, please, to get yourself verified.
I think it's $8 now. I think it was 20, but now it's 8.
Isn't it a recurring monthly fee or something like that?
That's the point. Why can we never do this with gaming? Right, you want to play Rainbow Six Siege? You want to play ranked? Give us $10 a month to make sure that you can be verified, and then you win. Can you imagine if someone had 100 separate accounts, which wouldn't surprise me? Actually, no offense. Oh, hold on a minute. How many did? Pingu, I think it was, had 6 separate Siege accounts. So, can you imagine if you got a YouTuber to charge a YouTuber $60 per month for his account to be verified? Can you imagine how much fucking money he'd make?
Can you imagine a YouTuber quitting the game? I sure can.
Yep, I can as well. Well, I think that's it, gentlemen. A bit of a sad way to end with the announcement that Rocksteady Studios' founders have left, and to move on to greener and pasture things. But the one thing I will say, I will thank them for a lot in my gaming life recently. I hope they can make more memories that I can look back on. And anybody who asks me about the Arkham franchise, I can happily say it's a great game. Go and play it, and they will actually enjoy it as much as I did. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, the one viewer we have, all being well, we'll see you next week. I'm not quite sure if we will be, because it was a bit of a late one for me tonight. I'm actually lucky I actually got back in time for this. So I'm dedicated to the cause, is what I am. So all being well, see you next week or the week after. But for definite, we'll see you in 3 weeks.
This podcast has been brought to you by the Dean Connolly from Jersey Loves Kate Bosworth Extravaganza. Remember,